In northwestern British Columbia, the Kitselas people controlled the traffic on the Skeena River at the Kitselas Canyon. Travelers would have to pay a toll for safe passage over this section of the river. As the toll keepers of the canyon, the Kitselas had a great advantage. That wasn't our only advantageous practice. Archaeological research has recovered an area that holds centuries of soil cultivation, including remains that indicate the use of local resources like fish and controlled burning to create a unique soil composition. The soil is part of the indigenous agriculture practiced, with over 70 species of plants that were brought together to form a local source of food and medicine, all held within the rediscovered forest garden of the Kitselas Canyon. I'm on a journey to reclaim that knowledge, to learn about that part of my culture, that history of my people, to reconnect the forest garden plants with our stories, our language, and to demonstrate how these plants can be part of our seasonal harvesting, preparation, and preservation. To help bring back a spiritual connection to this special place and our ancestors who created and maintained it for centuries. To learn from herbalists and practitioners of traditional medicine, from our stories and keepers of our language. On this episode, I delve deeper into the study of one of the species found in the Kitselas Canyon forest garden, Łaaya, the highbush cranberry. Somalia is the language of the Kitselas. I believe reclamation includes learning the Somaliac name of the plants, the original names given to the forest garden plants, long before contact, long before these plants were given English names. Isabel McKee is one of the few speakers of the Kitselas dialect of Somalia, and I'm so grateful she agreed to help me learn.
Łaaya.
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 Łaaya. We head out into the forest garden in search of the highbush cranberry. Its red berries and maple leaf-shaped leaves help to identify it. It is late in the year, so we might have missed our window of opportunity. And then we found two. Which really isn't enough for a snack, but it confirms the highbush cranberry is in the forest garden. It's not enough to make jelly, so I'm off to check a patch I've known about for years, in the hopes of finding berries. Where I'm harvesting from is more remote, and is a good time for a reminder about bear awareness while harvesting, particularly during this time of the year. Be cautious, be careful, and be prepared. As I arrive at the spot, I'm pretty fortunate that the berries are still in great shape for harvesting, and the bushes are still in leaf. Here you can see the reddish-brown color that the leaves take on in the fall. So, let's go a little bit offshore here, off the road, to find some highbush cranberries. So, we're just quickly going to look at the leaf structure. And to me, these are unmistakable. They are just something I've grown up with, and they make an amazing jelly. So we're going to pick these, and that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to process this traditional food. Picking highbush cranberries is faster than most other berries because they grow in clusters, resulting in many berries being picked at once. And before you know it, you're finished. These berries are going to be cleaned and frozen so I can make jelly later in the year. Łaaya is a nutritious food, but it is not only the berries that can be harvested and used from this plant. I've invited Renee Morvan, an herbalist from the Nisga'a Nation, to help me understand more about this plant.
I also would throw them in the freezer. Like if I just had a handful, I'd throw them in the freezer and eat like one a day.
Really?
And so what I know about bitters, I think it's like a bitter, so it just aids in digestion. What I would typically do is, you see the big branch that's coming up, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't harvest that one. I would harvest one of these branches that are coming off, and I'd snip it down the bottom. I'd take the whole thing, and then I'd shave, like how we do Devil's Club. I'd shave off the bark, and that's what you would use for. You can make a tea, or you can make an oil and salve, so you can use it. It's for any type of cramp-like pain.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could use the bark too. Wow. Okay, but it would have to be one of the. Is it new growth you're looking for?
If it had little twigs kind of coming off, then I just snip that off and put it into my oil too.
Oh. Okay.
And then shave off all the bark, and then snip these smaller pieces too and put them in the oil. I'd let it dry for a little bit first, and then put it in oil for like two weeks up to 6 weeks.
Putting the bark in oil is a way to infuse the oil with the medicinal qualities of the bark. After being in the oil for 2 to 6 weeks, the bark is removed from the oil, and the oil can then be used to make a topical cream or salve for pain relief. The pain relief property of the highbush cranberry is a reason why this plant is also known as cramp bark, and has been used to treat muscle ache as well as cramps, including those during a woman's moon time. The plant is both nutritionally and medicinally valuable, so much that the highbush cranberry continues to be harvested for the same reasons today. This episode has mentioned a few ways that the highbush cranberry can be preserved or incorporated into our diets. My favorite preservation method is making jelly with the berries. oral histories and stories have been passed down from generation to generation. These are important records for our people.
Samson began his Cranberry.
Was it Samson?
Yeah, that was my Uncle David's story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it grows. Cranberry canyons down here.
Yeah.
Like goes to the east, going that way.
Yes.
There's used to be that one time just I guess acres of places where cranberry grows.
Oh,
And nothing else grew but cranberries.
wow.
That's where that story came from.
Well, I was thinking it must be a very powerful giant because the highbush cranberries are like almost like a superfood. They have so many medicinal and nutritional benefits. And so, yeah.
Samson used to sit on his chair, and there's supposed to be a mountain that's shaped like a chair. He was so big, he was a giant. And he would sit to eat his cranberries, but he never did tell us where it was. But he used to live in Kitselas ages and ages ago. And he was a giant here. And there's supposed to be a place just past the canyon to the east that's so shallow that he was able to walk across the river back and forth. Well, that's Samson. That's who is sit on a mountain top and eat cranberries.
A powerful food for a powerful being. Does it make sense that Łaaya was grown in the forest garden? Absolutely. It just makes sense that the people of the canyon would want to have this powerful source of nutrition and medicine closer rather than farther away. So when needed, it was there. And to bring Łaaya closer meant they would have to find and relocate bushes to the forest garden, transplanting and caring for Łaaya, highbush cranberry, as they did for so many different species for hundreds of years. Leaving behind a footprint of a garden unlike anything that colonials had seen. Acres of the plants the Kitselas people arranged in layers and combinations of their own design. A garden that has been waiting for over a century has finally woken and is welcoming us back.